Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where I just discovered that Notepad apparently supports emoji. I didn't know that. Let's hop over to display capture here and we can take a look at our viewer contracts here. I have accepted a contract and we should be like this, 2 out of 2. This one seems nice and easy with our current tech. It's set as difficulty medium. I'm not sure I agree with that difficulty rating, but it is what was put in by this person who I have no idea how to pronounce this name. But it was this person who suggested this. It's a race contract. A rival space agency is going to send the first satellite into a stable orbit around Kerbin. And we need to send an unmanned satellite orbiting Kerbin. Must be completed in 7 months after accepting. Also, payment will be multiplied by 50% if completed in 4.5 months. So there's 2 ways that we can read this. This could be a penalty if completed after 4.5 months, or it could be an increase of 50% if completed within 4.5 months. I'm going to read this as the former, where we can say that if it takes us 4.5 months to complete this, we get half payment, which would essentially mean that this would be an easy contract instead of a medium one. Fair enough. Okay, so honestly, we can do that literally today. So that's part of the reason why I'm grabbing this. So let's hop into the, oh no, we don't need to go into the VAB. We need to go into the R&D center because we need tech. We do not currently have the technology to make an unmanned pod. So that is something that we do need to do, but we can definitely get this done before that 4.5 month semi-deadline. And we can hop straight on in here. We grab basic science, which gives us the Probodobodine Stay Putnik. That also gives us access to the experiment storage unit, which is very useful. And the high gain antenna, sure. And some other things like the Science Junior. So we'll grab that. And do we want to... We can't take anything else here for now. So we'll leave that facility and we'll hop into the VAB. And this is just simply a stable orbit, correct? A stable orbit, yes. So any orbit that is above 70 kilometers apoapsis and periapsis. Got it. So we start with our Probodobodine Stay Putnik. That is the only unmanned pod that we have access to at this moment. We would like to... All we have is rechargeable battery packs. So here's the thing. This thing is going to run out of power eventually, right? That's a guarantee. We have no way to generate power, but it doesn't say in the contract that it needs to generate power. That said, maybe we should add that in because that is a standard thing in KSP contracts, that the satellite needs to be able to generate power. That is standard for auto-generated contracts. So I think we'll do that, and that then means that we are not yet ready to do this contract, and we need to acquire additional science. So we can definitely do that. We can definitely do that. We're going to hop out of here real quick and see what do we need to grab here. That would be electrics to grab photovoltaic panels. Yeah, so we would need an additional roughly 60 science. Okay, so we'll hop into the VAB and we're going to do an orbital flight for this. Now, I do want to say... we can't do it from here. I want to note down when these times are going to be. But for now, let's just go ahead and open the faulty parachute machine. The parachute is now functioning. We have fixed the problem. And we're going to... I'm thinking about... No, we're going to land this whole thing, right? So we'll put the Science Junior here. I was thinking about dropping the Science Junior below so that we don't have these parts explode on impact. We might want to return to the return model of before, though, in case we come down on land. Okay, we want to go into science. I need to think about this for a moment. Science Junior goes in here. And do we put anything else into the service bay? We may want to consider putting a battery or 2 in here. Just to have that little bit of extra power. We can't generate any, but just so that we have enough to stick around for a little bit. Okay, and then we would think about dropping in our heat shield here, because we would want to be able to land on land, and we would also want to be able to add additional weight onto this, right? So it would be something like that, and then we would look to, and I mean, with the main chute, we probably could. But I just want to do something like this. Although I'm thinking here, what is the crash tolerance of the Science Junior compared to these guys? We might be better off mounting these on the side, and I would grab this and move them inward ever so slightly. I'm going to turn off snapping for that, and just move them in so that they're no longer clipping out and through. I would want to move it over this way, and then inward to be about like that. And then move it up a little bit so that it has a little bit of tolerance here. And then move these off of the bottom level is, I think, the best way to do this. So at this point, we would grab the mystery goo. We would come off of our symmetry here, and we put the mystery goo around here for the moment. Then we would grab our thermometer, we put it up top, and then the barometer, we put that up top as well. And again, the purpose for that is to ensure that we don't have anything down here that will clip into the ground and get destroyed when we land on our heat shield. So that is to save us a little bit of money there. So it would be something like this, and then of course we would need a decoupler, so we'd go with a TD12. And then attach something like that. Now, we don't have access to control surfaces, correct? These are lifting surfaces, but they're not control surfaces. So if we were to have our aerodynamic and our center of mass overlay here, we would hypothetically, I mean, these would just be stabilizers, right? They would just stabilize. And that might be a little too much stabilization. I don't know. We've added additional mass to this. I do want to rotate it so that these are in line with each other, like that. We've added additional mass. We may want to think about expanding this engine ever so slightly with like a T100 for purposes of going just that little bit further. And then we'll need to adjust our staging here, of course. So this goes here, and then drogue chutes, and then main chute. That all looks correct. This is no longer the faulty parachute machine, and this is now, of course, the orbital science machine. Beautiful. So this thing's goal is to make it into orbit. Oh, we should drop the parachute here. I almost forgot that we have access to the experiment storage unit, so we do something like this. We can even, if we really wanted to be fancy, we could do quad drogues here, like that. I mean, that should be more than sufficient. We're over our part budget, though, by 1. So I don't think we need quad parachutes here. We could go down to just 3 and have those be mounted in here, like this. No, like this. So just triple drogue chutes. This is more drogue chutes than we need, to be clear, but this way we're not over our part limit, which is mildly remarkable that we're not over our part limit, but sure, we'll take it. So at this point, we will save our orbital science machine. This thing goes out on the pad, and we're going to launch this. This should be fairly easy to handle. We're not going to actually launch it right now, though, because we need to grab our Science Junior data from the Launchpad. And that'll be worth, what, around 10-ish data? Something like that? 7.5. Okay. So we'll grab our materials study, and we will keep that experiment. Now, if we had a 2-seater pod, we'd be able to reset this and use a scientist for that. Unfortunately, we don't have that, so we're going to recover the vessel and grab our science here. This is going to be like 6. And then we'll do that one more time to grab the Science Junior data. I really do want to get a 2-seater pod here. That's going to be very important for getting that data reset going. Unfortunately, we just lack the tech for it right now. So that's 7.5 data, and we have almost half of the data that we need at this point. Now, I didn't like the coloration of that T100. Let's just make it be white. There we go. And then this down here, I'd kind of like this to be dark just to draw a visual dividing line between our upper and lower stages. We can have these be dark as well. Cool. So it would be something kind of like, do we want this to be, yeah, something like that. And then up this way, the pod, let's go ahead and make the pod be white, just so that there's a visual difference here. Yeah, that should do the trick. The pug, we don't want it to be a boat tail, really. This is okay. This is fine. So this will do the trick. We will save that now that it's a little bit better visually. And yeah, I'd really like to put in a 2-seat capacity here. We could have the onion be the thing that we bring back, but I don't think that's worth it at this point. Once we get the 2-seater round capsule, maybe. We'll see about that. But for now, we'll put this out on the pad, and we are going to need to grab our science data from the Science Junior again. Sadly, the Science Junior is not rerunnable, but we're going to have to do several orbital flights here, most likely, in order to get the science that we need. So we're going to grab 1.6 science here, and then it's going to be 0.4. So realistically, there's going to be one more of these. Okay. At least one more. Slightly tedious, no doubt about that, but we do need to get the Science Junior caught up. Once we are at the point where we can reset it, things will get a lot better for us. I swear that there's a way to launch from here. Enter the launch pad. Oh yeah, I'm dumb. Okay, so we just launched the orbital science machine here, and we launched that vessel. Cool. So that saves us a loading screen. That's a good sign. Now that I'm substantially less dumb, hopefully. I'm still pretty dumb, but this'll do. I knew that there was a way to do this. So with one load screen saved, that's fantastic. We'll grab our material study. And we will keep that one. And we'll recover this one final time. Now we're going to need to grab it going up through the atmosphere, but I think we're going to avoid that this first trip, and we're just going to grab it from orbit. So the in-space low data, that'll be the most valuable, and once we can reset it, we'll be able to grab the atmospheric data and reset it in orbit, is going to be the idea. So, that's all good. And we got a world first milestone for splashing into the ocean, apparently. Cool. So we're at 42 science at this point. Let's launch the orbital science machine one more time here. And that's looking good. So we do need to get this done within 4.5 months, but that seems very doable. Very, very doable. And this will give us 50,000. So, I mean, this will cover some of the costs of our orbital flights, but it's not going to be tremendous, right? So let's launch this thing at this point. Off we go. We're going to grab our mystery goo. Actually, are we going to grab our mystery goo observation? No, we're going to grab our not material study either, now that I think about it. We'll reset both of those. Okay. I want to hop into maneuver mode here so that we can see our apoapsis, and we're going to start heading on over here. Our stabilizers aren't giving us all that much in terms of control. They are definitely stabilizing us. There's no doubt about that. Let's just plop on over to prograde, and we're slightly below our target heading, so we'll just try to bring this up slightly and correct that. It's better, but it's not fixed. Okay. Yeah, this'll do for now. And up we go. So we're about 17 kilometer apoapsis here. 20. And that will continue to get better and better, of course, as our speed increases. However, our thrust to weight is going to be a little lower than it was previously because we've added additional weight to this craft. No doubt about that. So this is pushing us up to about 45 so far. We do have a little bit of burn left in this stage. 55, 60, 66. Okay. So we're going to need to burn here for a little bit and get this up slightly. But we're going to definitely do a fair amount of coasting, and we're just going to head on over, and we're going to get some horizontal speed here. We're now considered in orbital mode. We'll just park here for the moment. We'll burn here until this is at about... we'll target 80 kilometers. So we definitely need to get horizontal speed here, but our thrust to weight is going to be pretty low for the moment. We're not going to target 80 kilometers. I don't think. Well, we do need a fair amount of horizontal speed here yet. We can grab our atmospheric pressure scan, and then we can collect that. That's for sure. 85 kilometers right now, and our thrust is definitely increasing at this point. So we'll just park here for right now, and that seems reasonably okay. We'll just continue this burn. Yeah, I think that we will actually target 80 kilometers. We do need quite a lot of horizontal speed here, but this only needs to get into orbit, right? So that's fine. We're going to hit space here pretty soon, so we definitely have an underpowered first stage. There's no doubt about that. Our first stage is certainly underpowered. Now we'll grab our mystery goo observation and our material study, and we'll keep both of those. Excellent. And we're just going to keep burning horizontally here, working up our horizontal speed, and bringing that apoapsis up a bit. We're almost at an apoapsis of 80 kilometers right now, but we're at 75 currently, so we definitely need to keep burning here. We do have enough delta V to pull this off, but that underpowered first stage did definitely hurt us. No doubt about that one. Still need about 300 DV here to get us into orbit. So we'll continue this burn for a bit. But yeah, we need to rework that first stage a little bit with this added mass. At the very least, we need to toss a little more fuel into it. I think our thrust to weight is probably okay. I mean, this thing does have enough fuel to get into orbit. There's no doubt about that. There's no problem here. And of course, this is a pug, which is not tremendously high in terms of its thrust either. So that's all good. We are about to enter orbit here. And yeah, we're burning basically perfectly. So no coast phase there, which is generally a good sign. A coast phase usually means you have too much power, but I would rather err on the side of too much power than too little. Okay, so that is a stable orbit there. Of course, this does not satisfy our contract because this is manned. But we are now officially in orbit. And we can bring this back at basically any time we choose to. Unfortunately, Jeb can't EVA. How much would it cost at this point to upgrade our astronaut complex to allow ourselves to EVA? We may want to consider putting that cost in. If we're just targeting orbital, we don't require upgrades of our tracking station and mission control just yet. So we'll see. Okay, the astronaut, that's the flagpole. The astronaut complex would cost 75,000. We're doing it. Okay, so into the tracking station we go. Well, hello, Gene Kerman. And we're going to fly our orbital science machine. We're going to grab our EVA report here. And of course, we're going to be able to warp around, right? And grab EVA report from different biomes. So this is going to be worth a lot of data. Probably enough to get our contract mission done, is the idea. So at this point, go ahead and stop time warp when we change biomes because we want to grab these EVA reports every time. Grasslands? Sounds good. That is already 24 science there. Anything else that we've got here? Highlands. Cool. We'll EVA and grab that data. Anything else? Yep, we've got mountains. Beautiful. We'll keep that and continue to warp. Anything else on this orbit? That's probably close to all of the biomes that we're going to hit. We might be able to sneak in a deserts somewhere. But let's just bring this... Yep, there's a deserts. Beautiful. So we got a deserts, and what else can we do? That should be it. We're going to take this around until we're in the dark side. So we're going to warp around to about here, or so. We have a little bit of fuel left, and yep, this should be reasonably fine here. We're going to flip over to retrograde, and we're going to start coming on in. That's about all of the science that we're going to get from this flight. So that is fantastic. We also performed the first spacewalk in orbit of Kerbin. That alone pays for this flight, although it does not pay for that upgrade. This payment scheme is going to encourage us to go to Duna a lot, isn't it? I think that's fairly likely. We're definitely going to hop over here and bring down our periapsis. We're going to target about 20 kilometers. Cool. There we go. Realistically, I think we're better off aerobraking with the heat shield because of the sheer amount of friction that creates compared to braking with this engine. I think we just ditch this 324 meters per second, and that's probably a better way to go. So we ditch this, and we just hold surface retrograde from here. Now we can warp until we enter the atmosphere, which will be about now. Cool. We're flying high. We could technically grab that. That's very precarious, but we got it. And we're not going to do that again, probably. That's very spicy to do. SAS needs to be on pointing retrograde. How are we doing on power? We should have more than enough. Oh yeah, we've got plenty of power. No shockers there. Okay, so we'll just continue warping this on down here. And where are we likely to impact? I'm guessing probably this water over here would be the likely option, but we'll see. We'll just hold retrograde here. We'll have no real heating issues, but this amount of drag, look at that. We're already slowing down. The drag on these heat shields is insane, and that is why I wanted this. The drogue chutes are almost certainly overkill. But we're cruising on over this continent here, and, I mean, we've got a ways to go over the continent, but we're moving pretty quickly here. No doubt about that one. Love to grab these material studies, not an option at this moment. So yeah, it's definitely looking like splashdown. Oh, hello. We were losing attitude there, so I pulled us out of physics warp, and now we're able to hold attitude again. So I guess we'll chill here for a bit until we slow down. And Jebediah was just unable to hold attitude with the physics warp. Technically, we could be holding it with MechJeb, I think. Smart ASS is, I think, not currently available until we have the node unlocked, which is fair enough. Fair enough. We're not going to be using the MechJeb automation features. We're just going to be using the Smart ASS because it's a better implementation than the base game SAS. So that'll be fine. But we're slowing down nicely. We're at 1,200 meters per second here. Make that 1 kilometer per second. And continuing to drop. We're going to be splashing down, which is probably for the best. Less likely that we lose any of our parts here, but with the new positioning, it should be fine. Flying low over the water, we'll drop our drogue chutes, and we'll grab this EVA report once we slow down enough for Jeb to not, like, instantly lose his grip. The main can now be deployed. This main is not defective, of course. And we can turn SAS off now, and we can just warp down. And we're flying low. We will grab our EVA report before impact, but after the parachutes deploy. I say impact. It's really more of a splashdown. It's not going to be much of an impact. So down we go. 3 kilometers to go here. 2 kilometers. Drogues deploy. At this point, Jeb should be more than capable of hopping out, grabbing an EVA report, and hopping back in. Cool. Down we go. And the main chute will deploy now. Bringing us down to 7 meters per second. Okay, that seems acceptable. We'll just continue physics warping our way down. As expected, these parachutes, specifically the drogue chutes, are slightly overkill. But that's fine. We had the part budget, and we may as well, right? We're going to recover them. No point in not doing it, really, in my opinion. So this is fine. Absolutely fine. We'll splash down here. And splash. Cool. We'll grab our crew report. Apparently we don't have one from here. We'll grab our temperature scan and atmospheric pressure scan, which it makes sense that we don't have one from here there. And Jeb should EVA, grab an EVA report, and that is going to be worth a lot of science. So let's recover that, and that should give us the science that we need to generate power for our satellite. And I have added, let me actually just add that here right now. Satellite must be able to generate power, hold position, standard KSP contract things. Okay, cool. So that's added into the actual contract there. And that was 164 science. Beautiful. So we're going to hop into our R&D and we will grab our electrics. There we go. We'll grab that. And what else do we want? Like flight control? That's a mech Jeb there, which wouldn't be bad to have. And also the P re-entry module to allow us to reset the Science Junior. So I think we'll definitely grab this, and then we'll design ourselves our satellite and probably redesign our orbital science rocket in the next episode. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, James, Shadowwolf, Mlohan80, Rogue Corvid, Kintogan, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Anna the Elephant, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.